So Doreen, you were explaining where you went to high school.
Yes, I went to the Grandview High School of Commerce, which was situated at First Avenue and Commercial Drive in Vancouver. And it was a great school. There were very few boys at that
Well,
school.
is this your graduating class?
Yeah. Uh,
So are there any boys in there at all?
well, maybe in other grades, but not in this grade. These were all girls.
And what were you learning in this school?
In this school, the only courses we took were shorthand, Pitman shorthand.
And I think today, in 2014, you're going to have to explain what shorthand was.
Yeah, I guess so. It's symbols. There are just dots and dashes for the vowels, and some lines or circles for the consonants. And once you learn it, it's possible to write Pitman shorthand at the speed the average person talks.
So that's probably 2 or 3 or 4 times faster than writing out whole words.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, much faster. And then they had what they called stenographers' notebooks. I don't know if they carry them anymore. And this is what the stenos, the abbreviation for stenographer, that's the book that we would use when we're being taught and when you went to work. The same thing. And I particularly liked the bookkeeping courses and did end up then taking, after I left there, because they didn't actually teach accounting, but I really liked the bookkeeping and did very well at it. So when I was finished high school, I took some accounting courses, and then I got in that line of work and stayed in it all my life.
So when did you first go to the Grandview School of Commerce?
1940, I think it was.
For 2
39 or
years.
40.
Yeah.
4 years.
So that's back when women, generally speaking, were usually in the home and they weren't out in the workplace so much, right?
No, they weren't. You were expected to, if you could, complete your high school, and then you were expected to serve milkshakes or work in an office for a couple of years, and then you were supposed to get married and have children.
So this looks like an unusual thing, really. I think you were saying there are only 2 schools like this in the whole of Vancouver.
That's right, because my mother knew what I wanted to take, so she checked into it, which I confirmed later, that there were only 2 high schools in Vancouver that were only commercial high schools. One was the Grandview High School of Commerce, and the other was the Fairview High School of Commerce.
Right.
And Grandview High School of Commerce, although none of them were that close to our home, Grandview High School was the closest.
So it looks like a pretty small group of people. Was it hard to get into those schools?
I don't know. I never had any problem.
Did you think it was an honor to be able to go, or because most people weren't going? It's a very small class.
Yeah, it's a very small class. Well, maybe it was. I know I had good marks all through public school, so maybe it had a bearing on it. I don't know.
And how many of your classmates went to university back then?
I don't know.
Very few.
Yeah? Very few.
Yeah.
I
So more of them would have gone to this School of Commerce,
gosh.
perhaps. Yeah.
Very few went to university or college, especially girls.
So what did you do after you graduated?
Well, I worked immediately.
Where?
My first job, I worked during the summer months while I was in high school for a company called Melrose Dairy on Kingsway near Carleton School.
In Collingwood.
Yeah, and just serving sandwiches, milkshakes, and so on. That was just, and then I'd go back to school in September.
So your class at the Grandview School of Commerce at First and Commercial, was it a pretty close group of people? Did you?
Yeah, it was at the time. But once you leave there and you get a job, you lose track of people. There was only the one that I kept in touch with, that Evelyn that I told you about.
Oh, yeah.
She was my friend all my life.
Evelyn?
Evelyn Playstead.
Oh.
She married one of Harry Rankin's brothers.
Oh.
You know, the lawyers?
Yep.
And he was also a lawyer. I forget her husband's name. Yeah.
So
But
Evelyn, do you know if she ever joined the Evelyn Club? Remember Evelyn? Do you ever know Evelyn Harris? Lived at 1210 Lakewood from 1919 to 2002. Oh, because she started the Evelyn Club when she was in her 80s, and she'd get together with 30 other older women,
that were named
all
Evelyn.
named Evelyn. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I don't think so. She never mentioned it.
huh? But she lived in that same house at the end of William Street, right at the top of the hill. You know, when you go up William, yeah,
Oh,
at Lakewood.
and she had an Evelyn club.
Yeah.
Oh, be darned. Well, unfortunately, I lost my friend a few years ago.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah.
Did you know Harry Rankin?
I knew of him, and I met him a couple of
Mm-hmm.
times, and he was quite a talker. He was.
Mm-hmm.
He was really a character.
A real character. He used to top the polls for
I know,
Vancouver City
I
Council.
know.
Yeah. Very
Yes.
popular fellow.
He was very popular.
Very honest, very
Well,
straightforward.
he was Evelyn's brother-in-law. Just the variety of people.
Sure.
The variety of people.
And in the 40s, in 1940, when you're going to the Grandview School of Commerce, there wasn't so much variety. It was still basically a British place back then, right? Yeah. Kind of conservative, low key.
Conservative, low key, low crime.
Yeah.
But as the years went by, Commercial Drive was a great mixture of people.
After the war.
After
Yeah.
the war.
So you enjoyed the mixture. Yeah.
Yes.
The Italians and
Yeah, I
the.
never had any problem with any of them, no.
They were very friendly, were they? The
They
Italians?
were, yeah, they were friendly. So it was a good neighborhood to live in.
Yeah.
I, of course, had never been married here.
Milton Street. Oh,
Oh, that's what, no, I was married then. Yeah, that's me.
oh, D. Dudley.
I was Doreen Dudley, and then we were divorced, and I married a Herman.
Wow. So you've had three names.
I've had 3 names. Yeah, I've had 3 names.
Wow, that's really
Well,
something.
I was trying to catch up to Liz Taylor.
Yeah, it must be hard. People call out your name and you won't know who they're talking about half the time.
No.
So it's interesting, the old phone number Kerrisdale, 6711.
Yeah,
That's going way back when there were hardly any phone numbers.
that's right. And these were great lumber people.
Oh, yeah.
For the Whithall, so he was a wonderful boss.
Really?
Yeah, that's me, even though it doesn't say Mary, it's still D.
Accounting.
Doreen, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in there. Yeah, I was always in that line of work.
So it was busy during the war, was it? The war years, they were cranking out
Yeah.
production? Yeah.
And I remember, too, liquor was
Rationed?
rationed, and I didn't drink. I still drink almost nothing. But I didn't drink a drop then.
But other people noticed.
Oh, I gave my share to the guys at work.
They liked you.
Oh, I was pretty popular.
Were they tickets, you mean? You get a bunch of
Yeah,
tickets?
you got a little slip or something, and you could just get so much.
What else was rationed back then, during the war? What other tickets did you get?
No, as far as I can remember, it was only liquor.
Do you remember that? But things were restricted. Like you couldn't really build anything because the building materials were being shipped overseas, right? Like lumber and metals, and
Yeah,
it was, I mean, there was all kinds of restrictions.
there
That
were, yeah.
yeah.
But I didn't pay too much attention to them. I was too busy having fun
Good for
and
you.
going out and dancing. And
Oh, where would you go dancing?
there was one on right downtown,
Danceland or
Danceland.
the ballroom? It was called the
Oh gosh, the Alex, I think it was called.
the Alexandra Ballroom.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
fabulous.
that became Danceland on
Yeah,
Robson
it
later
became-
on.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And the dancing was jive. We used to
Oh.
jitterbug and jive.
You were doing jitterbug and driving.
Oh my God!
You loved
yes.
it.
I loved it. I had a partner. He wasn't interested in me romantically or anything,
Yeah.
but he loved. Could he dance? He was double jointed.
Oh, that's fun.
And the funny thing is, my name was Doreen Mary, and his was Harry Christmas.
No.
Yep.
Well, that would have been a great last hyphenated
Yeah.
name. Doreen Merry Christmas.
Yeah, his name was Harry Christmas.
Well-
Not spelled quite lit. It didn't have the T in it, I think.
Wow.
Chrisma.
Close enough for Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Wow.
So where were we?
So that you make a good dance team, the Merry Christmas dance team.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun. Oh
Wow.
yeah, and then my last job that I was in for about 30 years or more was with, first it was Skeena Forest Products along the Skeena River.
Oh
Then
yeah,
it
by
was
Prince Rupert. Yeah.
Yeah, then West Star Timber. And it was owned by 2 or 3 different places, but each time it changed, they just sort of inherited me and the other employees.
Really? Wow.
And
So
that went on until I retired
Wow.
in 1985.
Wow. That was a long time ago. You
It
retired.
was- yes, that's right.
Almost 30 years ago.
That's right.
So how old are you now?
You really must know.
Well, you look young.
If you must know, I turned 90 last month, or in May, I should say,
Wow.
May the 13th.
Good for you.
And I am now at the age where I'm going to brag.
Good for you. Well, you got lots to brag about.
Yeah. But I'm used to retirement now, although I always loved the working world. I always loved my work. It was never a problem for me. The only problem I had with working was the alarm clock that went off in the morning. I didn't like getting up, and I still don't. Well, even you, I said afternoon.
Sure. So it's always a shock every morning, eh, when the alarm
Yeah,
goes
it sure was.
off. So, guess what? You used to live where Britannia is right now. Britannia Community Center, right?
I lived on William Street.
Right.
Yes, and I loved that old house. Gee, I really liked it. But I hadn't been there very long. In fact, I often wonder if the owners that sold it to me knew. I don't know.
It was new? Yeah?
No, if they knew that it was going to be expropriated.
Probably, eh? Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I kind of had a hunch.
It would have been in the planning stage for a long time.
Yeah, so they must have known.
So this was the 1500 block of William. And today there's some really lovely houses on the south side of the street.
Yeah.
All very 1910 really nice heritage houses. And you were directly across the street in a really lovely heritage house, I imagine.
It was.
And that when the city decided to build the Britannia Community Center, like the high school had been built in 1910-11, but when they decided to expand it to it's 18 acres now, they tore down 100 houses, and yours was one of them.
Yes,
Yeah.
it sure was,
Yeah.
and I was so disappointed. I was really disappointed. So the real estate man found me quite a nice house, though, on Victoria Drive.
8th and Victoria.
8th and Victoria, 2343 Victoria Drive.
Was that an older home as well?
Oh yeah, it's about 100 years old. And it was very nice. So we were there until we moved to Surrey.
For quite a while then. Yeah.
Over 30 years.
30 years in that house. Wow. It's funny, the older you get, the more you did this for 30 years, and you did that for 30 years, and you did that
Yeah.
for 20 years.
Well, moved in 72 and moved to Surrey in 2002.
Yeah. Wow, 30 years later. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Huh. When you got these beautiful little dogs.
Yeah. And I've always had papillons. I love them.
Papillons. These are purebred papillons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, delightful. How old's that one?
This one guy's only 8 months old.
Really? A real
Yeah,
puppy.
That's why he's not as fluffy yet as the other one.
Not as fluffy.
No.
He's pretty fluffy.
Yeah, but it takes over a year before his tail will get much fluffier.
Oh yeah, they'll be more similar, will they?
He'll
They're just beautiful dogs.
Yeah, he'll have a
Aren't
coat
you beautiful?
like that one.
Aren't you?
Yeah, and then one thing that I did like about living in that area, I'm very fond of live plays and things like that. And now I forget the name of it. I was
The
trying.
Vancouver Little Theatre at the York Theatre.
You walk down.
Commercial over past Venables.
Yeah. And what was it called?
It was called the York Theatre.
Yeah. And I used to like to go there.
What do you remember about going there?
To watch the plays.
Do you remember much about the building itself? What was it like inside? Don't remember?
I really don't remember.
But the plays were good.
The plays were good. And I remember there was a woman there, she used to sell Nanaimo bars for 75 cents each. And she eventually started her own business called the Lazy Gourmet.
No, really? Susan Mendelson?
Yeah.
Wow. The New York Theater, or the York Theater. They had a blade sign that they put in 1942.
In 1940. No, I didn't live in that area
Oh,
when I was.
so it was more like the 70s you went to the theater? Yeah.
I think that would be it.
Because it closed down in 1977, I think.
Did it, or
The theater
maybe
did.
before that, then, didn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. And Susan Mendelson isn't.
Wasn't there another place though that in that neck of the woods, other than that theater?
Well, the Vancouver East Cultural Center.
Then that's the one. That's the baby. That's the one. Yeah, Vancouver East Coast. That is the one that I went to the most.
Really? In the 70s and 80s. Yeah. Yeah. They've had a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. Well, they did fix up both of those places, you know, since you moved away.
Did they?
They spent about $25 million on the Vancouver East Cultural Center, and they've just redone the York Theater at a cost of $13 million. So the York Theater just reopened, and it's all interesting stuff there now, plays and let's see, Margaret Atwood just had a
did the
play there.
author?
Yeah, she had done a play to do with Pauline Johnson, and they just had it there a month or two ago at the York Theater. And it just opened not very long, just this year, reopened. All brand new. It's going to carry on till the end of time.
And I used to. They had some really nice restaurants.
Oh.
Commercial Drive.
Oh, yeah, yeah. What do you,
Yeah. So
Wow.
all in all, it's been a very eventful life.
mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think by the time anybody reaches, maybe even 50, but certainly 60 or so, I think we could all write a bestseller.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good point. And you almost forget all the things you've done.
Yeah. That's right. I'm trying
But when
to
you get-
remember. And,
When you start remembering, you go, oh my God, I've done so many different things.
so many different
Yeah,
things.
and I've got a lot of stories. Yeah.